Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes' Godbreaker at online booksellers today. There have been reports on social media that Tyre Nichols was set up for murder by those 5 Memphis police officers. Now, according to some of these alleged reports on social media, there are individuals alleging that Tyre Nichols was targeted by one of the police officers who allegedly murdered him, and he targeted him because he was involved with his baby mama at the FedEx job where Tyre Nichols works. Now, according to these individuals on social media, Tyre Nichols was allegedly involved with one of the officers' baby mamas in an intimate relationship, and because he was involved with one of these baby mamas in an intimate relationship, this triggered the feelings of one of these officers and possibly is a motive for the way he just boxed him in and dragged him out of that car and wanted to make it look like it was him resisting arrest as they went and allegedly murdered Tyre Nichols. Now, when I take a critical examination of this speculated story, it might have some plausibility if one of these officers went out here and targeted Tyre Nichols, because that fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis, and the pattern here fits the pattern and profile for workplace simps that I talk about in my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace. And when you have a male, even if he is a college-educated man, like several of the officers here, many of these males really do not know how to function in social relationships with women. And because these individuals do not know how to function in social relationships with women, many of these males get in their feelings whenever they hear a woman they're involved with is involved with another man. And one of the most dangerous situations a man can get involved with is getting involved with a single mother, something I talk about in my classic blog, Why Smart Men Avoid Single Mothers, because many single mothers, they still have a connection to the baby daddy, because once a man and a woman have a sexual relationship, that man injects his DNA and his spirit into that woman, and as that DNA and spirit bond with that woman, it creates a soul tie between those two individuals that does not sever until death do they part. And when it comes down to that soul tie, when it's a beta male attached to a woman, this can lead to this man, when he hears that his woman is involved with another man, to him going into a rage because he wants to maintain power over that woman. And because he wants to maintain power over that woman, he wants to make sure no other men get involved with her, because that messes with his smooth world where he is the baby daddy and she can be the baby mama. And as long as he's paying child support, everything is cool. He doesn't mind what if she's by herself, but if she gets involved with another man, that's going to trigger anger in that man, and he's going to want to do harm to that man that's involved with his baby mama. And this is why many men don't get involved with baby mamas, because the ex or the baby daddy is always there, and like a character in a horror movie, this guy is going to pop up whenever his woman gets involved with another man. And that possibly could be the case as related to Tyree Williams. As he's working on this new FedEx job, he's checking out a honey at the job, which is really something you should not do. And I talk about this in Stop Simping in the Workplace. You need to really stay away from the women at your job, because that puts your job in jeopardy. But according to this theory that is being speculated by people on social media, They are alleging that Tyre Nichols possibly got involved with this woman at the job. And when he got involved with this baby mama at the job, there's a possibility that she started talking about Tyre Nichols. And as she was talking about Tyre Nichols, what happened was this officer got triggered, because most workplace simps and simps in general get triggered when they hear their baby mama is out here with another man. Once they hear that, they get triggered and they want to do harm to that man, because they don't want anybody messing with their woman or their child or disrupting the smooth world that they have. Now, most critical thinking guys out here, when they see a woman with a dude like this, they don't want nothing to do with her. And when they see a guy like this, they say, okay, I'm gonna leave her alone. And on the flip side, you will have the guy who's the baby daddy. He will go ahead and charge that woman to the game, have his visitation with his kids, and he won't really worry too much about who she's involved with, because if it's that serious, what the dude will do is file for custody to take custody of his own children. Unfortunately, many beta males are not very good critical thinkers, and because they're not good critical thinkers, they get mad when somebody is out here smashing the woman that they previously smashed, and they have walked away from, and what they don't want anybody to do is mark on the territory that they have previously marked on. So that's a motive for them to look to do harm to a dude, in addition to them this woman being the mother of his children. So I'm seeing some possible motives for the alleged murder of Tyre Nichols. I see some possible motives, again, because when it comes down to these beta males, they do not really think critically. They act on feelings and they act on impulse. And according to this whole conspiracy presented on social media, this would be a motive for attacking Tyre Nichols as he was driving home from his FedEx job. Possibly these individuals started to study his routine, because as members of the Scorpion unit, they knew the neighborhood very well, and as they knew the neighborhood, they went out and boxed Tyre Nichols in and then ambushed him in that way, and then wanted to possibly make it look like it was him resisting arrest, and they wanted that to be the cover story for their alleged murder. That possibly could be the motive as related to the brutal beating that they gave him in the street, and one of the reasons why they possibly left him leaning on the side of that police cruiser, because these males, what they wanted to do was help the baby daddy go out here and get even with Tyre Nichols, and send this message to this male not to get involved with their woman. And this possibly could be their motive for brutalizing Tyre Nichols, using their badge to make it look like it was him resisting arrest while going underground and actually having this motive to participate in murder. So they possibly, what they wanted to do was make a cover where they were saying, oh, we're arresting him on this traffic stop for driving allegedly erratically, but then use this as a reason for attacking him, say he's resisting arrest, and then use that as a reason to brutally beat him to the point where he died 3 days later. That could possibly be the reason for that, the death of Tyre Nichols. And if that's the case, then we have a clear, open and shut case for first-degree murder, not the second-degree murder that these officers have been charged with. The original charge, again, was second-degree murder, but if a prosecutor can substantiate this case as related to one of these officers having issue with the baby mama getting involved with Tyre Nichols, then that changes the entire case to a first-degree murder case, and that's definitely going to lead to these officers who were fired winding up doing life in prison and having to deal with Bubba and Tiny, trading them for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Taster's Choice, packets of Crystal Light, Kit Kat candy bars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, six-pack Oreo cookies, and all of the other goodies in the commissary. That could possibly be the case if this story that people are alleging on social media is plausible. But as I see it, based on the evidence presented, I don't really see that this case could be the one, because it would not make logical sense for these other 4 officers plus this white dude to want to participate in ambushing Tyre Nichols. That doesn't make plausible sense. Why would 4 other individuals want to risk their careers going out and seeking out a vendetta against a single individual who's mad that his baby mama is moving on from him? Now, you would think, again, other men would sit down and say, hey, dude, we're not gonna, you need to get over this woman. Yeah, she's out here with another dude. We're not gonna put ourselves on the line. That's what a group of critical thinking males would go out here and do. But we've got people on social media who want to speculate that 4 other individuals and a white dude plus several EMTs who have no connection to anything at all are going to actively go out here and support a group of 4 black male police officers in allegedly participating in helping them support the ambush of an individual. And that's where the entire story, as related to this being related to a officer mad about his baby mama, really starts to fall apart. Because once you apply a little bit of critical thinking and logic to the entire incident of Tyre Nichols' death, it really doesn't add up for all of these 4 officers plus a white dude to go out here and want to actively go out here and look to help a black man participate in a murder. It just doesn't make logical sense at all, because those other 4 black officers, even if they do corroborate his story like what they tried to do when they told their lies, it would just be something that would not be plausible. Because why would somebody want to go out here and again put their entire career on the line, put their family out on the line, put everything they work for on the line over a dude who was mad that his baby mama was out here getting smashed by a FedEx dude? Now, most guys, once they are finished with a baby mama, all they do is pay the child support and do the visitation. They usually don't get involved with that woman. So this story, again, only people who try to keep that relationship going are these beta males. And again, when I look at these guys who are supposed to be so-called frats and supposed to be big-time guys, why would they be concerned about a baby mama outside of the simps who want to keep their world smooth for their kids? I mean, outside of those dudes, they usually don't care. I mean, if these are big-time guys, they would have gone out here and smashed some other woman. And again, makes no sense at all to me as related to this case. But when I look at this case, and I look at this whole case of these 5 Memphis black police officers, again, it's looking to me like they just wanted to go out here and participate in an act of terrorism, and they wanted to participate in that act of terrorism because they wanted to gain validation and approval, not only for the white officer who was on the scene, but for the imaginary white person in their minds. All of these individuals, what they wanted to do was go out here and seek validation and approval from white people. And they thought because they were blue, they could hide behind the badge because they didn't want people to see how black they are. And they wanted the approval of those white people. So they brutalized Tyre Nichols and beat him, as I see it, to death, participating in the murder of Tyre Nichols. That's what I'm seeing as related to the evidence and the efforts to cover it up, which was broadcast on those body cams. What was presented on those body cams in the aftermath of the beating of Tyre Nichols were a series of officers looking to get their story straight, and they wanted to create a lie around Tyre Nichols allegedly resisting arrest, However, the video evidence showed us a completely different story, and what we're seeing here is a group of urban terrorists who wanted to terrorize a black man, participated in, as I see it, a lynching of a black man. And even if people say that, oh, it was about this baby mama, it still was an act of terrorism, and again, just shows the length of a spellbound beta male and how far they will go to be able to fit not only in the black box that's acceptable to white people, but also to gain the favor of white supremacy. And according to this theory, it really makes it worse because it makes these guys look like a group of simps who are looking to gain favor with a female, which again just shows how weak these guys are, because they were weak in both cases, because they were not following the law when they stopped Tyre Nichols. No, when they did that stop, it wasn't about anything except sending a message that black people need to be scared of anyone who is blue, whether they be black or white, and they need to be scared of these individuals because they will be made to suffer if they just participate in the most minor of infractions, because an individual who is just driving home, this is an act of, again, to terrorize that individual by boxing them in, not allowing them to escape, not making all sorts of crazy statements. They're not commands, because an officer who makes a command, he can go out by himself and he will, keep his distance so that this individual will not do them harm. But these individuals were looking to do harm with malice of forethought. And even though there are those on social media who want to talk about it might possibly be about a woman, it just shows how these so-called officers were not men of character, because men of character would not have terrorized Tyre Nichols, a 5'8", 9" guy who was 145 pounds. You had burly 200-plus pound men looking to brutalize this small, slender man. And again, this was all about power. This was all about sending a message that these males wanted to go out here and show who was the man in the community, and that anybody who stepped past these men would have to deal with the consequences of their actions. And again, when I look at these individuals, they wanted to, again, participate in that terrorism that we saw during the days of Jim Crow and the Ku Klux Klan, because what we saw these 5 self-hating black males do was participate in a modern-day lynching where they looked to lynch Tyre Nichols to, again, send a message that people needed to be afraid of the paddle rollers, even though those paddle rollers were black, and that they wanted to turn that city of Memphis into another part of the white supremacist slave plantation. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my men's issues books like The Man Crisis and Stop Simping in the Workplace and Stop Simping in Cyberspace, so that you won't become a beta male, you can pick up all of those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find those books at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. Now available for the first time on Google Play, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are falling apart in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy on Google Play today.